Good evening, I'm Maria Cortez.
And I'm Jacqueline Chang, and this is Malibu 12 News. A school bus driver and 3 kids are in the hospital tonight. They were hurt when the school bus they were in was involved in a terrible accident. It happens near Sisquoc in Santa Barbara County this morning. The bus was heading to Rachetta High School when a farm truck in the oncoming lane passed. It apparently had a loose fertilizer arm sticking into the bus path. The fertilizer arm struck the windshield and the driver's face, causing her to lose control. A witness says she bounced back and forth a few times before plowing the bus into a fence and a tree. Luckily, she was conscious when firefighters cut her out of the bus. The witness says if it weren't for her, more kids could be at the hospital.
But she did a great job driving because that thing could have flipped 3 times and she kept it on all 4 wheels. I mean, she deserves she definitely deserves a medal for driving.
The driver of the farm truck was 25-year-old Hugo Medina. Police are still investigating how the spreader arm became loose. They're still determining if Medina will face charges.
Carpinteria High School football player Jonathan Escada was badly injured in a car accident Saturday evening, and investigators tell us 3 people in the second vehicle ran from the scene. 2 of the 3 have been caught. A 3rd person is still being sought. The Sheriff's Department is not saying at this time if the remaining person was the driver. The collision occurred on Linden Avenue at El Carro Lane. Details on what happened have not been released yet. At the scene are skid marks, debris from the wreckage, and a damaged utility box. The Carpinteria High School marquee has a positive message for Escada, who has head, chest, and pelvic injuries. Escada's coaches have been to the hospital to support the injured student athlete.
You know, one of the first things he wanted to know if he was going to be able to go to football practice on Monday, which just kind of breaks your heart. But
it's also a good sign.
It was a good sign, and he didn't have any really recollection of the crash, but itself. But he was able to speak, and you know, it was all a very good sign.
A 6-person team of deputies is investigating the crash at the Sheriff's Department.
A field over the $300 million fortune of a copper mining heiress has officially been resolved in a New York City court. The settlement involves Uget Clark's impressive estate in Santa Barbara. The agreement gives a total of about $34 million to nearly 2 dozens of Clark's distant relatives, and it establishes a foundation to turn estimated $85 million Santa Barbara property into a museum. Clark died in 2011 at age 104.
Santa Barbara doesn't have a gang injunction yet, but it could be the next local city to get one. City leaders say a court ruled on the matter before the new year. An injunction would limit the actions of about 30 known gang members in areas designated as safety zones. People are welcome to voice their opinions and concerns at a community discussion on Saturday.
If you oppose the injunction, we want to hear your voice. If you support it, come and tell us why. Eventually, the pro-youth movement will take a delegation to the authorities, such as the police department, and we want to open a dialogue about how the injunction is implemented if the court orders it.
The injunction would be similar to those imposed in Lompoc and Oxnard. Only people served by the court would be subject to injunction rules. The meeting starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow at Trinity Episcopal Church on State Street.
Flu season is almost here, and doctors say there are more powerful vaccines this year. The usual flu vaccine covers 3 strains chosen by scientists. A stronger version that protects people against 4 strains of flu is now available. They are making about 30 million doses of the stronger vaccine, and they don't expect to run out of the regular kind. We asked people outside a local pharmacy if that makes them more likely to get vaccinated.
I would consider getting one, I guess. I don't normally make a habit out of it, but, you know, I'd consider it, sure.
How about you?
I wouldn't.
Why?
I don't believe they work.
The stronger vaccine comes in nasal spray too. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has set up a website to answer all your flu questions. Just go to cdc.gov.
More fallout from a bed bug infestation at a San Luis Obispo homeless shelter. Jeff Stone is suing the operators of the shelter and wants $500,000 in damages. The suit claims the people who run the shelter knew there were problems but ignored them. You may recall the building was shut down for a few days to treat the infestation. Stone got bit before but ended up in the emergency room with an infection to stop the outbreak. Homeless people are not allowed to bring their own bedding into the shelter.
Another rare oarfish surfaced just north of San Diego this weekend. They're extremely rare. That's why 2 in 1 week has people asking what's going on. This time the discovery was made in Oceanside. Beachgoers found the 14-foot carcass Friday night. This is the second oarfish discovered in 1 week. An 18-foot oarfish was discovered in the waters off Catalina Islands a week ago last Sunday.
We don't know a lot about the oarfish. We do know that they live in deep water. They feed on things like zooplankton, which are small animals, and shrimp and things of that nature. And we feel fortunate that they have washed up because now we get a little bit of chance to study them, so maybe we'll understand them a little bit more.
Scientists will study the carcasses to try to find out why they're showing up in shallow waters. There's folklore that when this happens, it's a predictor for a big earthquake.
Zombies rose from the dead to perform Michael Jackson's Thriller. Hundreds of dancers practiced for weeks to get it right. This performance in Santa Barbara was hosted by Roll Dance for Humanity. It is part of the Thrill of the World event. Donations will help send children to school in Rwanda and help out local Boys and Girls Clubs.
Dirty fitness enthusiasts crowded UC Santa Barbara this morning for a colorful run. Thousands of people took part in what's called Run or Die. That's DYE. The 5K event wound its way around the campus. Runners passed several dye stations where volunteers threw powered dye made from biodegradable cornstarch at them. Malibu News 12 had its own team of runners there. Race organizers say it's one of the largest running events ever in Santa Barbara County. So what did you think about the run, Maria?
I think we should do it next year.
We definitely should. That's all for us this evening. I'm Jacqueline Chang.
Have a wonderful night. I'm Maria Cortez.